The question, why was the universe created, appears, at first glance, to be a profound and necessary inquiry. It seems to arise from a sincere desire to understand existence, purpose, and origin. However, within the framework of Advaita Vedanta, this very question is viewed in a radically different light. It is not considered a doorway to ultimate truth, but rather a product of a misdirected instrument of knowing, the intellect functioning under the influence of ignorance. Intellect, in its pure form, is a faculty of discrimination. It has the capacity to discern the real from the unreal, the eternal from the transient. Yet when it operates under avidya, it becomes conditioned, limited, and outward-turned. Instead of recognizing the substratum of reality, it becomes preoccupied with appearances. It divides, categorizes, and constructs a world of multiplicity. In doing so, it also creates the duality of subject and object, the observer and the observed. The question about the creation of the universe arises precisely within this dualistic framework. It assumes that there is a universe existing independently, and a separate individual capable of inquiring into its origin. It further assumes causality as an absolute principle, that everything must have a beginning and a reason. These assumptions are not questioned, they are taken as given. But according to Advaita, these are themselves products of avidya. In this sense, the question is not fundamentally wrong, but it is based on a mistaken standpoint. It is like asking, within a dream, how the dream world was constructed. The question may be logical within the dream, but it loses its meaning upon waking. Similarly, the inquiry into the origin of the universe is meaningful only as long as one is identified with the limited intellect and perceives the world as independently real. When this is deeply understood, not merely intellectually, but through direct insight, a shift occurs in the functioning of intellect, whereby the intellect begins to recognize its own limitations. It sees that it cannot grasp the absolute through conceptual thought, because it itself is part of the apparent structure it is trying to analyze. This recognition is not a failure of the intellect, but its maturation. It is the transition from a questioning, outward-seeking mode to a quiet, inward clarity. At this stage, the intellect becomes refined, subtle, and aligned with truth. It no longer asserts doership. The sense of I am the one who acts, thinks, and seeks dissolves. Actions may continue, thoughts may arise, but they are no longer owned. The individual recognizes that what was previously taken as the self, the body-mind complex, is simply an instrument within the larger order. This realization has profound implications for the concept of karma. While the momentum of past actions or prarabdha karma continues to unfold, sustaining the body and its experiences, no new karma is generated. This is because the root of karma, the sense of doership, has been seen through. Without the identification of I am the doer, actions no longer bind. They occur, but they do not accumulate. Thus, understanding the nature of the question itself, seeing that it arises from a misapprehension, leads to a higher state of clarity. The intellect, instead of generating endless questions, becomes still. This stillness is not ignorance, but freedom from confusion. It is a state in which reality is no longer filtered through mistaken assumptions. In this quiet clarity, the need to ask, why was the universe created, falls away, not because an answer has been found, but because the basis of the question has dissolved. What remains is a direct, non-dual awareness, where the distinction between seeker and sought no longer holds. Life continues, guided by prior momentum, but without the burden of ownership or inquiry into imagined origins.